This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good, thank you.
Ma'am, should I make you co-host?
Yes, sir.
I always forget how to do this. I'll just go to your name and make you co-host. That's easiest.
Yes, sir.
Make co-host. Okay. Now you are co-host. Start admitting people. Admit Jeev, sir.
Done.
Yeah. So you just keep admitting people. And I think when we read the book, I will flip the book myself.
Okay,
Then
sir.
this lag between flipping and speaking will go.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. I'll
Good morning, Jeev, sir.
Morning. I see Colonel Sekhar is here. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, sir. Sat Sri Akal. Happy New Year,
Sat Sri
sir.
Akal. Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good morning.
Very good morning. How are you guys?
All
We are
good,
good, sir.
Where
How
are
about
you?
you?
Right. So, how does it go? Please let me know how do we start and stuff like that.
Yeah, no worry. Rishona, school captain, is here. She will, she will introduce you, and then she will lead the discussion, and then people can join in and ask questions. I certainly have some questions for you. So,
Most welcome, sir. Yeah, the faster
so
I
where
say
are
I
you?
don't know, the better it is. Yes, sir.
Where are you? You seem to be in the middle of nature somewhere.
No, sir. That is the classic fake photograph. Presently, I am at home. I
Okay.
have a flight to catch at 1:20.
Okay.
And I'm on my way back to Nasik, sir. I
Okay.
head a group. I am director of 3 schools based out of Nasik and Aurangabad, respectively, sir.
Right. One sec. Let me just get.
Yeah, yes, sir. Feel free. You can ask me anything under the sun, sir, as long as I say I don't know.
Yeah, we just wait a bit for everybody else to join. 10:50 is our time. So, do you have a sort of a time schedule by which you need to leave?
Yes, 11:10 or so, sir.
Okay, fine.
11:10 is my heart. So the 45
Yeah.
minutes what has been given should be, everything would be packed and ready, and I'll get into the car then, sir.
Right.
Because when children, students are involved, can we make some time about what we are doing for them?
No, absolutely.
Yes, till the time people join, feel free to ask me anything you wish to question me on, sir.
Yeah, no question. Just learning from your experience, really. I think that it's quite a unique combination what you have. I've not come across anybody who has served in the armed forces and now is involved in education so deeply. So it's a very, very unique combination, which you have.
Very
So I'm
kind
sure.
of you, sir. Very kind of you. But we do have a few people. Mine
Right.
is a more black and white case, in that more interesting case, because I was in the army educational course, right through.
Right.
So I formally took PMR to come into the civilian space. So 22 plus 16 is the kind of numbers I have. Been in the army, which is a different experience altogether. When you come into the civilian space, it's a radically different thought process at some levels.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, Rishona, are we ready to start? Or do
Yes,
you want to
all yours,
wait?
sir.
What do you want to do, Rishona?
There are like very few people here, but since it's 10:30, I think we can start off with the introductions and then move on to the question answer session. Is that okay?
Okay, go for it.
So today we have with us Mr. Sekhar, who is a soldier educationist who has been in leadership positions as a soldier educationist and as an academician for over 30 years. A postgraduate in chemistry as well as in English, he has had a distinguished career in the armed forces, heading senior/military schools, instructor in the Indian Military Academy, Register of Autonomous Colleges. After taking premature retirement from the army, Lieutenant Colonel Sekhar was Director, Education and Empowerment with Atul CSR Limited, wherein he established the Atul Institute of Vocational Excellence from scratch. He was also Director and Head of Schools, Alpha Group of Institutions, Executive Director, Adinata Group of Educational
Shona, slowly, slowly. Shona, slowly, slowly. We have Hindi speaking also. Rishona, please go slow. We have speaking people also.
Sir, she has spoken far too much. Ask her to reduce it, sir.
No, no, I am going ahead. I said tell her to speak slow so
No, carry on, Rishona, carry on.
others can also keep up.
Like
So,
It's
as a
a
regular
brilliant, absolutely. She can do a jam so fast that you can't.
As a regular speaker, moderator, and presenter in conferences and study groups, he's currently the director, education at SAI Group of Schools. And we're so glad to have you here with us, sir. If you would like to say a few words.
oh, thank you very much for the huge introduction. So presently I moved out, but I am now heading a group of schools. I'm the regional director, Universal Group based out of Nashik. That's the update. Secondly, I'm privileged, honored. Thanks for having me here. Sandeep sir, very kind of you have to invited me. A happy, prosperous, peaceful new year to the entire family across the board.
Thank you so much, sir. I
Thank
think we
you.
should move on with the question and answer session. I'll be starting with a few 3-4 questions, and then I'll hand it over to the audience to ask their questions if they have any.
All yours.
So, my first question for you is that often we talk of peace in the world and they talk of no wars. In the unlikely case that this world successfully is able to take an optimistic turn, how do you think the life of soldiers would be affected? What would become of the occupation of fighting for the nation if the nation needs no protection at all?
Wonderful. Great question. Congratulations. Firstly, I will talk about what the great Harvard professor, psychologist Steven Pinker talks about. He has, through historical data, found out that we are in the least violent times of mankind. Least violent every which way, despite everything what is happening around us. That's point one. Point two, the utopian thinking that there will be all peace all round is not something I subscribe to. Thirdly, if it happens, if it really happens as such, beta, first thing is, will armed forces remain as such as we are today? If you look at the Russia-Ukraine war, other places, lots of mercenary armies have come in. So has happened in Afghanistan earlier on. So lots of people are willing to fight for a price, just like IPL players and just like IPL coaches. So that is going to start off. But over and above all of this, I believe that over a period of time, we are going to have much more in terms of AI and electronic technological development. The thinking that soldiers will be out of job or will not be doing anything is not something but I subscribe to, but I appreciate the thought. That's the day we all live for.
Thank you for sharing that, sir. Now, on to the second question. So, according to polls and stats in the Vox magazine, young people are far less willing to fight for their country now. What do you think would be the possible reasoning for this?
Many, many, many reasons. Firstly, let's look at how we look at India. I'm only looking at India. The statistics for the United States is that when they touch base with 160 people, they get one person to join the armed forces. Ours is a country with much more numbers. If you come, there are maps, there are statistics. If you come to the southern part of India, the understanding of what the army is relatively lesser. Go Maharashtra ahead, much more people join. If you are in the border districts, border states, except for the very significant exception of Gujarat, most of the border states would have a lot more joining the armed forces, the Kumanis, the Uttarakhandis, Western Maharashtra, etc. Several points come into play. Firstly, the armed forces has been reducing by the day the allure for the youngster. The belief almost everyone has is the life in the armed forces is one of huge challenges and there is no real predictability to anything in life. But if you check, more people die of road accidents in India than in the armed forces. That's one picture. Second, a large number of people. India earlier on would have 4, 5, 6, and in Catholic families even more. One Catholic family member, a male or a female, would automatically join priesthood or sisterhood. Now families have come down to only 2 children, in some cases only 1. So the reluctance to send one of them to any profession or anything where they are not close by has also become a challenge. 3, across the board, whether it is officers, whether it is senior bureaucrats, their own children are now not joining the armed forces because of a variety of reasons. So how we have come to a stage, it's similar to what you are being as a teacher. Beyond 26th January, beyond 15th August, beyond saying Vande Mataram and Jana Gana Mana, the average Indian, beyond watching Udi, Kargil, and some swashbuckling heroes, doesn't invest in the armed forces. 2, across the board, the stature, Naam Namak Nishan, is what we always talk about. The stature of the armed forces man or woman has come down. The bureaucracy or people otherwise have moved up. 3, the way the media people have portrayed it, and some of it armed forces itself is responsible. We are not giving the best, most accurate picture we can give. To give you better one major example, I found that in the armed forces, I was given the opportunity to express my opinion much more. I could speak out. In the civilian space, it is much lesser. People do not tolerate different opinions or opinions which are differing from what they say as much as it is believed to be. So the challenge is we require an army because India is surrounded by a very difficult geographical neighborhood. Yet we require to add on much more. And lastly, now with Agniveer coming in, with no security of job and no security of pension, people are questioning why we should sacrifice our children for the armed forces, because the security is not there. When a man or a woman joins the armed forces, the feeling is my family is secure. There is izzat in the village. If something happens to me, my family will be taken care of and I will be recognized in the village forever. That thought process is slowly but surely changing. Have I answered you, young lady?
Yes, sir. Very perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
you can
as a
ask follow-up questions if you don't agree.
No, I had a follow-up for that also. That when you talk of this, then do you believe that in today's world, true patriotism is reducing and being lost in some sense? Because as students, we often like hear essays and we talk of how we should fight for our country and we should all stand with our country. But do you think that isn't actually implied in the real world today?
Yes, it is. It's a good point you are making. We look at patriotism as only fighting for the motherland. Patriotism is also better becoming a doctor and serving the people. Patriotism is also building bridges the right way. Patriotism is also being a good teacher. But the very understanding of what you are being patriotic about, yes, India is my motherland. We always say, and it's an easy term, the great Sharda Prasad, the former advisor to Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, talked about three things. And that's very, very interesting. Three mothers. So he talks about Bharat Mata, my mother, my biological mother. Janani Janma Bhumi Janma Mata. Janani, my biological mother, the greatest mother in the world. Janma Bhumi, Bharat Mata, the greatest country in the world. Janani Janma Bhumi Janma Mata. Why can't I make my alma mater the greatest in the world in terms of a school, etc.? But for the average youngster like you, standard patriot conversations is not going to help. They require a purpose, they require a meaning, they require a deeper understanding. Inside the armed forces also, only waving the national flag or singing the national anthem or the national song doesn't make you sacrifice for the country. First, it is for the body. The person along with me, I have to save him or her. Then it is for the platoon, the Pulton, the 800 bodies led by that one commanding officer who leads. It's only after that the rest of the things come. So our own understanding of patriotism and nationalism has to change. Patriotism and nationalism doesn't mean questioning our leaders. If we question our leaders, if we question our teachers, our principals, we are considered indisciplined or non-patriotic of that nature. That has to significantly change. The modern youngster will ask you questions. Be prepared to say, I do not know, I will check and get back to you. Understand the modern youngster. Better you will see the 22nd century. We all sitting here will not. So can we understand the modern youngster and get their energy balanced with our experience?
Yes, sir. Thank you. For my next question, what changes do you believe are essential in the education system today? What do you feel students need in the peak of competition as it is today?
Ooh, better you are asking big questions. This will take more than an hour of conversation. Yes, our education system requires a change. Yes, we require to understand what skill sets we want. And yes, we require to understand that this is going to be a different world. I'll only which sport do you play? Which is the game you enjoy most?
Sir, I often enjoy badminton. That's the sport.
Badminton. Okay, right. Badminton means a game which most of us follow, understand. Prakash Padukone. Later on, we had Vimal Kumar. Now we have PV Sindhu. We also have the great Gopi Chand. So Gopi Chand once visited one of the schools I was part of, and he made a point that I have given away all the money, all the buildings, all the jewelry my wife has to create the Gopi Chand Academy. So we were also part of the group which contributed money. But he also said that when I am training somebody, I am a dictator. You have to follow everything I do to become a world-class sports person. There, in terms of the number of kilometers you do, what you do, he gets up at 3 in the morning, goes there, spends the whole day, comes back by 8, he goes off to sleep. So that is what elite sportsmen do. So there is competition. However, this crazy competition of quota, whatever else is happening, is taking us nowhere. Our youngsters, whoever are they, if you check it out, 25% of all our IIT graduates graduate only after dropping at least 2 semesters. So yes, there are significant challenges. 2, we require our students to be more skill oriented. 3, more collaborative. 4, willing to be creative. 5, ask as many questions as possible. 6, do not fear failure. But in this system where India today has got 320 million students, which is equal to the population of the United States, there are various people, various individuals going around. The former Education Secretary, Mr. Swaroop, said that education is among the toughest places to sort out. Yes, we require a change. Yes, we have far too much on paper rather than on ground. We have to make that change.
Yes, sir. And for my last question, how do you believe that military service changes one's perspective on decision making in matters as such?
Great question. That is something which I've been asked many times in different forms. Firstly, the military looks at you as a leader. I'm talking at officers level, and I'll come to the other things. Firstly, are you a leader? Are you willing to take the rap for all decisions you take? Are you willing to take responsibility? In this also, beta, there is the first thing which comes up. Captain Sekhar, Major Sekhar, Colonel Sekhar, Lieutenant Sekhar is an officer. So let us trust him. That comes with what we are in the armed forces. Trust is the currency based on which everything works. Till you disprove yourself to be not trustworthy, till that moment, we always have trust. That is the key differentiator. When a man goes into war, when a man goes into fight, there are certain things which he or she takes for granted. I will be led well. I will be taken care of well. If I am hurt, I'll get the best medical treatment. If I die, my family will be taken care of. I alluded to it earlier. That trust is dependent on the officer. And the officer there, after initially being compliant, is fully trained to be a decision maker in a fast moving scenario. Indian Army training is among the best in the world. And of course, the mentoring you get it. So we are used to much faster decision making, and that is how it should be. When you come to the civilian space, there are times when fast decision making does not help. After all, India is a bigger country. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, when he was finance minister, made a great statement. He said, you are taking time to take your decisions. So he told the great Edward Luce, they were there. He says, if you make a mistake in an article in the Financial Times, you can correct it next week. If I make a mistake as the finance minister of India, it will affect or kill 20 million people. So there is deliberate decision making. So can we integrate fast, optimal decision making with scale, which India runs? So my thinking for decision making is, once you get 60 to 70% of the information, the rest 30% should be your skill set and what you have to do. That's how I look at it. And it's something like Rohit Sharma not playing the test match. He took a decision based on what he believed is in the best interest of the team. I believe that is less explained. That was a great decision.
Thank you for answering all the questions, sir. I now hand it to Jagjeev, sir, to ask his set of questions.
Yeah. So, anybody else has questions, please raise your hands and Rishwana just coordinate that. So, I do have a few questions, sir. So, we talked a little bit about how, the youth of today are not that interested in going to the armed forces. You'll be pleased to know recently we've gone to Sunbeam schools in Varanasi, and we've done this Yes program with them, and where they sort of talk about what they want to be and what is required to get there. And they were, there was a group that wanted to join the armed forces. But I thought that maybe this is an opportunity for you to share with the others what the armed forces mean for the youth of today, because you understand both sides of it. So maybe you want to talk to them about as to why they should join the armed services.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, that is the highest form of service in terms of whatever you want, in terms of adventure, in terms of understanding, in terms of leadership skill sets, in terms of challenges, in terms of sports and various other activities. There is no match to the Indian Armed Forces anywhere. Your training is top class. You are mentored the right way when you are a youngster. As you grow up, you are given quality freedom to do what you want. Your family is taken care of, and ever so slowly as we move up in the ladder, you are given wider responsibilities, and further, you can transform this nation by giving the entire nation a peaceful night's sleep every day. That is something which nobody ever can figure it out.
Right. So, and if you can just talk a little bit about how you decided to get into the army, what motivated
Oh,
you?
sir, mine was complete happenstance. I had, my father was an IPS officer, sir.
Right.
And when I finished, I had about 13, 14 job opportunities, State Bank of India, etc., etc. But at that time, the armed forces, the initial pay was more. I had no clue what it was. I did not have an idea where Dehradun was. I was much more a speaker, a cricket team captain, debater, a literary person. So no idea. And the other part, amongst the people of my peer group at the very old age of 23, I'd announced that I'm joining the army. When you have young girls asking you, "Ab ja nahi rahe ho, ja nahi rahe ho," your ego takes a beating. So the moment the call came, I moved. And when I went to Dehradun the first night, I could not sleep because I had no idea. My button was open. My senior said, "You bloody joker, put on your buttons." I what hit me, I didn't know. First night I didn't sleep, and then I said, "Whatever it is, let me make a fist of it." I was a poor cadet. A stone sunk slower, I sunk faster in the swimming pool. But where it changed was when we had an endurance march of 40 kilometers or so. I could walk without drinking water where others collapsed, bringing teams, etc. That was the moment I realized that I could be a leader. Went to Ladakh. From then onward, did not look back in the sense that started enjoying it, went all over. But once I became the principal of military school Ajmer, where I was given to understand I'll stay for 5 years, my promotion came and they said I'm going to be moved within a week, 10 days. That was the time, sir, I decided to put in my papers because schools may I found my calling. But whatever I am today, it is because of what the army made me today, sir. There are a couple of questions on the chat. Can I
Yes,
answer
yes.
them?
Manisha ma'am, please ask your question.
Jain, sir.
Yes, Jane.
So, what innovative teaching methods do you recommend to improve student engagement and critical thinking?
Wonderful question, ma'am. Firstly, earlier on, we had student attentions much better. I would first and foremost go forward and say your 40-minute class must be divided into something like 5 sections. 5 sections means every 8 minutes you should have a mini break of a few seconds to bring them back. Two, make it realistic and grounded. If you want to teach Newton's first law, second law, etc., use a cricket pitch, use football for forces. Can we integrate the classroom with outside activity? Three, use the 30 or 40 students we have, make the mini teachers, you will find a huge difference. Four, most importantly, can the teacher learn to say, "I do not know, I will check, I will get back to you, thank you, and I apologize"? My belief, Manisha madam, the biggest challenge we have is the egos the principals and teachers have, unwilling to understand that this digital generation thinks differently from us. Can we connect with them? Can the teachers integrate within what we want? And do not give them salads, but give them cake. Salad is every subject is different, cake is more integrated, interdisciplinary.
So, Ela ma'am has a comment on the chat about parents wanting their children to be indoors and then losing physical strength. But related to that, the issue, that one sees, and I'm sure you've come across it also, is the obsession with marks, right?
Yes.
So, what sort of message would you like to give to children based on your own experience as an army person and as an educator?
Oh, yes, sir. Great question, great point you have raised. So, firstly, my belief is in 10 years, 15 years from today, the physical education teacher will make more money than the principal. Why? 3 out of 5 children in India are overweight. 2 out of 5 of them are obese. It's going up every day. It's increasing medical charges, expenditure, but it's affecting all of us. I can convincingly tell you in all my schools, the more the physical activity in the school, the better the concentration, the better the discipline, the better the mindset, the better the learning. Our problem consistently is we divorce physical activity from learning. I mean, when we found that students did better after a morning walk around, students did better when they had sporting activity combined with padai. When I say that today it is bag free day, the attendance is 110%. Even parents come. When I say I have an exam today, suddenly they have a fever in their knees. So we don't seem to read our children. The second more important part is for teachers to change. Even if we want them to study, are we giving them examinations when they are ready? We seem to decide on exams when we are ready. Instead of that, 10 of the students want to write an exam through a WhatsApp video. 10 of them want to give a project. 10 of them want to write the exam at 7 o'clock in the evening. So how do we redefine schools in the best way possible by not making it teacher centric, but much more student centric? And make sure, whether we like it or not, we are becoming an obese country. Only the medical professionals are making their money. My own thinking, sir, is there will come a time when students will come in 15 years, they will land in the school ground through an unmanned drone. They will come there, play, and they will only attend school for 2 days in a week for physical education. For the other things, they will not come to school, because we find all our children are making sambar and dosa, looking at YouTube and then consulting their mother based on what they have understood. So there is a churn going on. In that churn, if India has to progress, we have to become physically fit. If you go to any urban schools, you will find 30 to 40% of the students wearing spectacles, or even more, being very much overweight. This is a challenge, sir.
Thank you for that. I love that example of insulting the mother after you've tried the dosa sambar yourself. Uh, Sir, you mentioned about how joining the army was one of the biggest services you could do, right? What you could do for the country in service. So if you go back to your childhood, your schools, I mean, how did this desire of service, or this desire to serve, how did it get inculcated in you?
Dad, mother, firstly, he was an IPS officer. 25 transfers in the first 24 years. So what kind of man he was, well known. So he was a giver. I mean, he was once Prime Minister Nehru's chief security officer, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's chief security officer. So he was considered among the only, in his batch only he made it to the highest ranks, and he wouldn't bother about anything. So that's one. But along with that, at home we were very clear. When dad's driver came, when dad's constables came, first thing we have to go and say namaste to them. Second, take a glass of water and give it to them and get back the glasses. Three, if they want a cup of tea, go and serve them personally. From there it started, and I was lucky enough to study in schools and colleges. My schools and colleges, where there was huge amount of interaction between us. For example, sir, I wrote that Shakespeare is a fool in my BSc grade 2 English exam, Merchant of Venice. I said statistically, other than Bassanio, anyone could have picked up the golden dabba. So with terror in my mind, he came up, who is Sekhar? He said, I am Sekhar. He says, I haven't heard anyone calling Shakespeare a fool, but he said, "You bugger, you have not read the text, but you know the story." Right? 1981, much before everything happened, I wrote down that technology will change the way books are read. We will no longer have books which are hard copies. So we were not discouraged at that point of time. And from there on, my dad during that time, my sisters are 10, 11 years older to me. They are engineers and doctors of the 70s. Their entire district would have one or two doctors. So they pushed their daughters to study, made us independent, and we had a great set of teachers. I studied in St. Joseph's, and we were never ever, we were taught all aspects of religion, and they were great fathers and priests who taught us the realities of life.
Thank you. Thank you. Last question. Kunal, do you want to ask it yourself, please?
Ah, Kunal, I've read your question. I wish I had an answer for this. So far, I enjoy doing my work, Kunal. I enjoy interacting with people. I enjoy answering questions. And I enjoy saying I do not know. The moment I start believing that I know everything, the moment I start believing that others are not better, I am superior to the others, the moment I start pontificating during my time things were better, Kunal, my energy will come down. Hopefully, there is still a young child in me, sir.
Thank you, sir. You have a hard stop at 11:10,
Yes,
so I just
yes,
wanted
sir.
to thank you. Taking this time off. I think it's been a uh, a session which has given me lots to think about. I had a few more questions, but we're running out of time. So, Rishona, do you want to come in and thank Sir Sandeep?
Yeah, Colonel Shekhar, I just want to bow down to you. That's all.
Oh, sir, very deeply humbled. I bow down to you, sir. This is a great opportunity. I'm very impressed with the questions, especially no girl at this age has asked me questions linking all of this. Congratulations to all of you.
Colonel Shekhar, this is my good school. And you said you are looking at a school for the future. Future is already here.
Absolutely.
We go to school only to play. We go to school to dance. We go to school to do all kinds of naughty things. And we only study on Sunday. And yes,
Yes,
we
thank you
also
so
have a
much.
day for teachers. We tell teachers, come once a week on Saturday. And don't come to us on Sunday. We don't want teachers here on Sunday, but teachers are pouring in.
Wonderful, sir. Take care, sir. My hard
Thank you, sir.
stop is coming, sir.
Have a safe journey. Rishona wants to say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And I'm
Yeah, thank you
very
so much. Yeah, God bless you. And I'll do one more session. If you want to, I'll come back. Please
yes,
call
I
me
would love
whenever
to
you
have
want.
you.
God bless you. Take
We'll
care.
do that.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Sandeep
Have a
sir.
safe
Thank
trip,
you to the
sir.
entire team. Bye, sir.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Sat Sri Akal, sir.
Okay, Sandeep, Manisha, back to you.
Yeah, Jugdeep sir, you want to read the Joy of Learning diaries before you run away?
No, I'm here for a bit. I
Okay.
haven't opened
So,
it today.
so maybe you want to open the Joy of Learning diaries. There is
Yeah, I
some.
can. I did go through it.
Yeah, just share some
A
of that,
lot
and
of.
then I'll read the chapter after that. I thought I can take this much liberty out of you to have you open and try and keep the Joy of Learning diaries with you always. You do a wonderful job for a few minutes with that. It
Yeah.
makes a lot of difference to us.
So,
We missed you last evening. I think we had a reasonably first time we had a circuit breaker of 100 teachers. We couldn't take more.
oh wow.
Yesterday was a really large number of teachers. So we are moving to a webinar from next week where beyond 100 it will convert into a webinar automatically. So any number can come.
Right. No, I was learning a new meditation technique.
Yeah.
So,
So this is a very interesting reflection. You see this
yeah,
from
I've gone through that. I've gone through all of these. There's some very nice reflections. I play them, but it's
and
not easy to. You
yeah, you
can't.
have to pause after
Yeah,
you
yeah.
pause anywhere. Once you play, yeah, this Tejas has written a good one.
Yeah, there are.
All
It's
all of them have their own spirit. If you see, there
yeah.
is also
There.
one. They all have a different theme.
Yeah, there are lots around nature and lots about describing monsoons. That's the good part.
Yes, sir. Maybe we should encourage schools to make newsletters like this. But when they make them, they should increase the time a little and give a few seconds on every page. That's
Yeah,
something I want to recommend. For example, if you do 10 articles, you should do a 3-minute video and let it pause for a minute or so or minute and a half on every article. They can
yeah,
easily do that when
absolutely.
they make their videos.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, absolutely. This is about sports.
Here's your
Unfortunately, we lost
yes
the match.
workshop coming up. I said that's yes workshop summary.
The earlier one, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. A beautiful summary of the yes workshop. So, Jugjeep sir, highlight of last year, I think, has been the yes workshop. And we have to find, for example, like you had Colonel Sekhar today, and you
Yeah,
connected this so beautifully with the yes workshop. So, a lot of our guests also, the guest program has to be structured around the yes theme, where we learned what people want to become from Varanasi, and we should get people who can help them think further on what they want to become.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's right now. It's
So,
a
this is
should be a clean canvas. You can pretty
Yeah, yeah.
much
So
do what
meet
you
and
want.
greet and yes. So if you look at logically how our GSA programs go, we have My Good School, then the teachers step in. After the teachers step in, we celebrate the joy of giving, and then we understand the meaning of youth engaging society. So it's quite a logical progression of our curriculum. I'm tempted to call that. It's not really curriculum, but I'm tempted to call a set of programs as a curriculum. And when they do these four things with us, they make podcasts, they do internships, they do fellowships, they will create videos. So that's how our 9 programs come into being. If you see on the website, last week we have kind of highlighted, after going through these presentations, we had to structure the website in a way so that this presentation and how we work kind of sync. Would you like to read this?
I don't know if Sambhav is there.
Bob, are you there?
Okay, so I'll
Sports,
only
service,
do it.
skills. Yeah, please read this.
Sports, service skills, and education are the abilities that help things run smoothly in sports. These skills include being good at talking to others, planning and organizing events, solving problems when they come up, and helping athletes and fans with their needs, with their needs. Working well with others as a team and being a good leader are also important. In simple terms, these skills help make sure everything works well in sports and that everyone has a good experience.
It's a fantastic, I would say, mission statement literally as to how you champion a good school.
Yeah, yeah. So this
There,
is
there,
the
there-
Vyanshu. I remember him from the
yeah,
retreat, and he
yes,
talks
yes,
about
yes.
complexity of life. Life can be complex and tough, just like Cinnamon in My Name is Cinnamon book. He was adopted and didn't know who were his real parents and got to who they actually were, but his mind would be filled with with why did that happen to me and why only me. Same thing can happen to anyone, but differently. Their loved ones can be lost, never to be seen again. They would be in denial for ages, but they would think that why did that had to happen to me. But the thing is, we never actually find the answer to this. But when we do find the answer, we accept why this has happened. And it was to make you better as an overall physically and more importantly mentally. I think it's a
How
very
beautifully.
important point
Yes. How
that whatever
beautifully.
happens in life, it makes you stronger. And you have to look upon this as lessons. What if you face a difficulty? It's a challenge. You're meant to overcome it, right? And you'll be stronger. So I think it's a
Very,
fantastic thought.
very precise. Jugjeev sir, every word in this reflection to fit into this little space, all the thought, it's quite commendable. He's almost like summarized the whole book in this one comment of his. And that's the art of doing a book review. And he's called it Complexity of Life. Good.
Yeah,
Well done.
yeah, right. So Anmol talks of this, same service skills sports study, and I think uh, it's a small thing, but it's important that if somebody recognizes it, then I think the purpose of the Yes workshop has been achieved, because the real point is to recognize that all four are important. And we talked about it a little bit with Colonel Shekhar, right? This focus on marks. And so I think if somebody
He highlights
recognizes
career
this,
and relationship. Jugjeev sir, he highlights career and relationship. And if you
yeah,
look at Colonel Shekhar's visit today, it's about career and relationship. How his life with his father being transferred helped him build relationships. How he mentioned that the spirit of service got inculcated to him. How he mentioned how his mom gave him certain things which he values even today. So, what really made his career was perhaps his travels across the country. That could be the one of the factors. His being a sports person, that is another interesting thing he said. So service we've seen in his life, sport we have seen in his life, skill, he mentioned about skills also. And yes, he also did study. So today when you look at this particular Anmol Kashyap quote and you look at the visit of Colonel Shekhar, I think it calls for another reflection. What in Colonel Shekhar's life is the essence of 4S? Over to you, sir.
yeah, no, it's what he also talked about, how he developed the concept of service. I mean, it's valuable. And
Jugdeep sir, you
the
were
other
at the
thing,
retreat. Jugdeep sir, you
for
talked about
somebody to we also did Merchant of Venice in school, right? For somebody to sort of say Shakespeare is a fool, takes a lot of courage. B, I mean, he had his reasons for it, right? He was thinking. So the other point is around thinking, which is very important. It's very important, right? Thinking. So there are a lot
Jugdeep
of
sir.
blogs on the monsoon season, and
Jugdeep sir, one point when you were talking about Colonel Shekhar, I thought of the retreat, and when he was mentioning about giving water, one thing we noticed in the retreat that the participants were very compassionate. I wonder if you noticed it, and it was not intentional. When they were working with the children at the Arthur Foot Academy or when they contributed to the well being of the people there, it was not intentional. It was just natural to so many of the people who participated, which I thought was very nice. Whether Kunal working there or Manisha working there or all the young people from Abohar to Varanasi to, or even Gyanodaya people, how they brought an element of giving into the retreat was commendable, absolutely.
yeah, yep, 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 yep. So there are some really nice ones on the monsoon. This one is by Anmol. And
Goodly smell of rain on dry ground.
yes, yes,
Air
yes,
smells fresh,
absolutely.
and everything looks cleaner and brighter.
Yeah,
Here comes
right. This
Wolf.
is this is about how pigs communicate. So that's it's good.
Well, Wolfman has got another book, so I'm at it. I just ordered mine today. So maybe we
Yeah,
continue reading Wolfman.
yeah. Lalita has a very powerful message for us, right? Being grateful is a simple yet powerful practice that shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, right? And that's what Anika talked about that day, right? It's about appreciating the little things like a kind word, a helping hand, or even the beauty of a sunset. Gratitude doesn't just change how we see the world. It changes how the world sees us. It's a gentle reminder that we are part of something much bigger, and even the smallest blessings are worth cherishing. Gratitude turns what we have into enough, and the ordinary into extraordinary, right? And this is what Anika session was a lot about, right? About abundance, feeling the abundance around, and what working with the disadvantage, made her feel. And typically, unfortunately, in this world, we are uh, we are forced into what is called a scarcity mindset. There only if there's competition. Shona asked Colonel Jacob, and she reflected the reality of today about competition in every sphere. And when you practice gratitude, it makes you see abundance and not, and you move away from the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset. Okay, so what do we have here? This also, I think, captures
very
the
nice.
sense of what Anika was talking about and what even Amardeep has been talking about before. We aren't a part of nature. We are nature. It challenges the traditional view of humanity as separate from the natural world. It implies that humans are not mere observers of nature, but rather an intrinsic and inseparable aspect of it. From a biological standpoint, humans are an involved species, part of the complex web of life on Earth. We rely on natural processes like photosynthesis, water cycles, and the food chain, which bind us to the planet. Our very existence depends on nature's balance. However, modern society often treats nature as something external to us. And that's our precise problem today, right? That's why you have global warming is happening. It's a little out of control, unfortunately. Hopefully, we can all sort of bring it into our lives and uh, sort of do stuff to save the planet. Sustainable development, you know, this captures concept really well by Prince Raj, and he's got another great blog, if I remember right, that Monsoon. So both this and the other, it's just lovely to see it being described, right? And I hope when you're writing it, when you're reading it, you can picture this. Because I mean, I don't know about you all, but personally, I love the monsoons for these reasons. You know, it's it's just a fantastic time of the year.
To give, sir, I have also announced the Secret Network of Nature as our next read. So after Inner Life of Animals, I'm
Yeah,
continuing with Peter because I find Peter a universal teacher. Uh, you have to now think, and maybe this is what people have been saying, what after cinnamon? We have to give people time to plan their year and order the book and get it. So do
right.
give this a thought over the weekend. What after cinnamon?
Yeah, I'd sent you some, you know,
Yeah, I
I'll,
saw that.
uh,
I saw what you sent me.
yeah,
I thought, we always try and read something which people will not pick up in normal course.
right,
And sometimes we want to read less of Arkin, Ryans, and Ruskin Bonds because those are universally available. So it's
right,
always good to find interesting stuff like we've been trying to do. So I think we should continue with this spirit and maybe find something. For example, like we found Toto Chan, we find Live Life in Crescendo. So even Sudhamurthy's book, which we read, there is also an interesting book by Narayan Murthy, which I was looking at the other day.
right.
Like The Life of Tatas. We could find something like that. There is a book by Kamla Mukundan about school and what we learn at school. I came across that also. So we will give all this a thought and maybe we will ask people here in case you want, you can try that out. But I'm not sure whether the people get enough exposure to the world of books as you and me do. So the standard. So I'm leaving this discussion open-ended here, and maybe this week, by the time you read your cinnamon, maybe this month, we will decide on the book. I've already announced my book, which I've shared in the WhatsApp chat today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, is Anita Desai something people read in routine?
Anita Desai, you could read. Her stories are nice in case.
Okay.
There's a message from Ela ma'am.
Why didn't she tell us?
Guru Nanak's travel is second. Ela ma'am, this happens second Sunday every month. Amardeep was with me yesterday, by the way, Jugdeep. He came into the studio yesterday to say hi. So it'll happen next time, Ela ma'am, on the
So in the
second.
next week,
Well,
good morning,
well,
sir. Happy New
Yeah,
Year,
Ela
sir.
ma'am, this will be next week. This is the first 1 hour of the second Saturday where we screen a docu-series and Amardeep actually narrates the entire story.
Thank you, sir. I'll be
Sure.
waiting for.
Yeah, Ela ma'am, very simple. Go to the Joy of Learning Diaries. The calendar is there.
Fine. I'll go there.
If you go on 25th of December, we release the calendar of January. We always release it in the last week so that you can plan your sessions and encourage students to come by. You can even get the copies of the books, which I keep repeating. Please get the books. Please buy the books. Eat less. Don't get obese. Read more. Increase your neocortex. Get obese in your brain. It'll help you much more than eating a few pizzas and pastas. Jugji sir, I've taken the message across.
well, I'm dreaming of pizzas and pastas. Yeah, I'm, getting very sattvic food here.
Well,
So,
your choice. You took the retreat.
yep. So, yeah, so this is a great one by Shubhangi where, she
Shubhangi, please read
highlights,
it. I think Shubhangi is here.
she'll read it. Shubhangi, can you read it?
I thought there was a Lehertara hostel here. I wonder who was that. Sunbeam, Sun City. No, Shubhangi is not there. Shubhangi. Rishona,
Okay.
why don't you read this? Rishona, please read this.
Sure, sir. I need to read this paragraph, right?
Yeah, read Shubhangi's reflection.
A transformative journey of self acceptance and self compassion. It begins by acknowledging your worth, embracing your flaws, and nurturing your mental and emotional well being. It involves letting go of negative self talk, replacing it with affirmations of kindness and encouragement. Self love means setting healthy boundaries, prioritizing your needs, and learning to enjoy your own company. It requires forgiveness for past mistakes and the courage to embrace who you are without judgment.
Jugdeep sir, I am taking the liberty of reading it. A transformative journey of self acceptance and self compassion. It begins by acknowledging your worth, embracing your flaws, and nurturing your mental and emotional well being. It involves letting go of negative self talk and replacing it with affirmations of kindness and encouragement. Self love means setting healthy boundaries, prioritizing your needs, and learning to enjoy your own company. It requires forgiveness of past mistakes, and the courage to embrace who you are without judgment. Jugjeev sir, courage to embrace who you are without judgment. I think this is very, very important. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff is there. There's a lot of stuff in this one. Lots
Yeah.
of things. So, yeah, thank you, Shubhangi, for
Thank
that.
you, Shibangi and Rishona. Rishona
And
from the
and another one, lovely
yeah.
one in the monsoons, describing all the lovely
Why
things
don't you
he's
read
seeing.
this, Jugdeep sir? This is interesting. You are in the
No,
land
I'll
of
ask Rishona. Rishona, go on.
no. Rishona is in a hurry to run away. I think she's got a
No,
date.
no, she's not in a hurry.
Okay, read slowly, Rishona.
During the monsoon, nature comes alive with vibrant colors and fresh energy. The earth turns lush green as plants and trees grow rapidly. Rivers and streams flow with fresh water, creating a soothing sound. Raindrops sparkle on leaves and flowers while the air feels cool and refreshing. Birds chirp happily and frogs croak in joy, welcoming the rain. Small insects like fireflies and butterflies are seen more often. Farmers work in their fields, planting crops. Sometimes dark clouds cover the sky and lightning flashes, followed by the sound of thunder. Monsoon brings beauty, life, and a sense of renewal.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, lovely. I
Do
have
you
a
want to go
bias for
back
the
to the joy of
monsoons.
learning, Gary? There's still some more. You can do it for 2 minutes, then I'll read the chapter.
Yeah.
This whole
So what
newsletter is
interested me
interesting
about
one.
all these blogs was also the variety of
Yeah,
subjects.
absolutely. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And this is also something that Anika talked about, the importance of why art is important in life. Would somebody like to read that?
Why art is important in life. Art is one of the important parts of our lives. It helps to express our feeling, emotions in the form of drawing, stroke art. It provides a powerful means of self-expression, allowing individuals to communicate emotions, thoughts, and experiences that might be difficult to put into words. It can also stimulate creativity, relieve stress, enhance mindfulness, foster cultural understanding, and contribute to personal growth and well being. Art gives meaning to our lives and helps us understand our world. It is an essential part of our culture because it allows us to have a deeper understanding of our emotions. It increases our self awareness and also allows us to open to new ideas and experiences. It can be used in daily life in advertising, interior design, architecture, in addressing societal issues, and so much more. Artists have also worked to make their everyday life in famous pieces of work. A point here which I want to highlight, see how I use the commas and full stops. You stop briefly at a comma always, and you'd have a little longer pause at a full stop. Using commas and full stop while you're speaking, believe me, makes all the difference. It puts emotion into your voice. They are there for a purpose. You have a speed breaker on the road, it is for a purpose, Jugjeev sir, not to press the accelerator and go over it faster. You want to show some other reflections, Jugjeev sir? We have given a lot of time to Leher Tara. Are there others also which you may want to highlight?
Yeah,
This
this
one,
again is on gratitude,
yeah,
monsoon.
monsoon.
Very nice descriptions again.
Absolutely, you can flip the pages. What does art mean? Another one. Maybe you want to email this to Anika at your free time, Jugjeev sir. Just send it across to her.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, just mark this to her in her WhatsApp or wherever you feel. Now, this is also a good one. So we can just, people, please read these reflections from the Joy of Learning diaries in your comfort time. And like I said, I think this is like a celebration of last year's reflection. This newsletter, the ultimate one from Leher Tara, is indeed a great one. And I think on this point, we need to give Varsha ma'am due credit for how she has been a great fellowship ambassador for the year. I think she's done a fantastic job, and we thank her for what she does for the fellowship. The way she's created the lab there, she's got separate headphones and mics. The way she's gone and really put together the joy of learning in their academic culture. You want me to read, Jugdeep sir?
Yeah.
I have a chapter to read. Are we all good with the screen? Jugdeep sir, are you good with my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. The inner life of animals. Lies and deception. Can animals lie? If you define the term loosely, then quite a few can. The hoverfly, whose yellow and black stripes make it look like a wasp, lies to its enemies by making them believe it is dangerous. It must be said that the fly is unaware of its deception because it doesn't actively undertake it. It was just born looking that way. It's the name with the European peacock butterfly. Sorry, it's the same with the European peacock butterfly. Have you heard of this? Find out what is a European peacock butterfly. A butterfly which has got the name peacock. With big eyes on its wings, it signals to its enemies that it's bigger than it really is and too large for them to tackle. But let's put these examples of passive lying aside and take a look at which animals are the real tricksters with deception in their minds. One of these, for instance, would be our rooster, Fridolin. He's a portly representative of his species and as white as driven snow, which is just as he should be because he's a white Australorp. Fridolin lives with two hens in a nearly 200 square meter run designed to keep out foxes and hawks. Two hens are quite enough to provide us with the eggs that we need. Fridolin, however, sees things differently. Such a small flock doesn't keep him as busy as he'd like to be, and with a sex drive like this, he could easily satisfy a couple of dozen lovers. Circumstances, however, dictate that he has to concentrate all his loving on Lotta and Polly. The hens are not at all keen on constant coupling and therefore quickly give Fridolin the slip as he prepares to make the final pounce. If he somehow manages to land on the back of one of the ladies, despite his best efforts to avoid him, he spreads his wings to keep his balance. At the same time, he grabs hold of the neck feathers of the hen, which is now squashed down flat on the ground, and sometimes he even pulls feathers out in a frenzy of passion. Then he presses his cloaca against hers and squirts his semen inside. As soon as the act is over, it lasts just a matter of seconds. The hen gets up and gives herself a shake. At least, for the time being, she can return to eating. Sorry. Yeah, sorry for that. I lost the page. So let me just sort this out. But it's not long before Fridolin's ardor returns. Because their hen is interested in joining in, he has to chase them down all over again. The rooster often runs out of steam while pursuing them, and a modicum of peace descends. But then Fridolin came up with an easier way of getting what he wanted. Fridolin is usually a real gentleman, allowing his little harem first dibs at food. As soon as he spies something tasty, he makes a special clucking sound, and it's not long before Lotta and Polly rush over and fall upon the food he has found for them. But sometimes there isn't anything to eat under Fridolin's feet, and it turns out that the roaster has enticed his hens over the bald-faced lie. Very cool roaster. Instead of tasty worms or scrunchy seeds, what awaits them is another of Fridolin's attempt to mate. And thanks, sorry for this. I have too many things happening on my screen. But then Fridolin came upon an easier way of getting what he wanted. Fridolin is usually a real gentleman, allowing his little harem first dibs at food. As soon as the species spies tasty, he makes a special clucking sound, and it's not long before Lotta and Polly rush over and fall upon the food he has found for them. But sometimes there isn't anything to eat under Fridolin's feet, and it turns out that the roaster has enticed his hens over his bold-faced lie. Interesting is here. Bald-faced lie. Why do you think lie is bald-faced? Can anyone think about it? Why are we calling a lie bald-faced? आप कहते हो ना white lies. Why is a lie bald-faced? Think it over. Instead of tasty worms or scrunchy seeds, what awaits them is another of Fridolin's attempts to mate, and thanks to the element of surprise. His devious plan is often rewarded with success. However, he tries this trick too often, and with two hens, a couple of lies suffice. Then both of them become cautious. Even when real food is on offer, no one believes a liar, even when he tells the truth. So there is a famous fable, you remember, where you call out too often and people don't believe you then. To give, sir, you remember a story? Liar, liar, pants on fire?
Yeah, when we were kids, yeah. This was a nursery rhyme, no?
Yeah, liar, liar, pants on. they were, अब जैसे शेर आया is another one in Hindi.
Ah,
जब शेर
sure.
आया तो फिर कोई उसके पास आया ही नहीं. So this is all the interesting thing. The deception between animals and us is very, very similar. So how beautifully Fridolin has been coolly cheating everyone. And then they finally figure out, yeah, this guy is not going to give us food, so let's just forget him. Other species of bird can also be fibbers. Take swallows, for example. If a male returns to find his mate is not in the nest, he gives an alarm call. His mate wrongly supposes danger threatens, and she flies back to the nest via the shortest route. The male uses the false alarm call to keep his mate from pursuing dalliances in his absence. Once the eggs have been laid, there is no longer a concern, and the deceitful call ceases. Great tits provide another example. They are widespread in many parts of the world, and a number of them are fibbers. See, fibbers is an interesting word for lying, liars. For when it comes to food, it's every bird for itself. These pretty birds with black heads and white cheeks have a sophisticated language that they use to warn each other about predators. This is interesting now. One of these predators is a small raptor called a sparrowhawk, which likes to hunt in back gardens. The bird dives down, quick as an arrow, to grab sparrows, robins, and tits, and then flies to the nearest bush to eat them. A great tit that spies the danger from afar warns others of its kind with a high pitched call. The call is out of the sparrowhawk's range of hearing, which gives the great tits a chance to slip away safely before the raptor spies them. If, however, the raptor is already dangerously close, the warning is broadcast at lower frequencies, so that all the tits know an attack is imminent. Very interesting, the pitch of the sound. So if you saw, dogs also have a very sharp hearing aid. They can hear sounds, far shriller sounds than any other beings. So this is the way they actually help themselves and they help their community. The attacker can also this deep churning call and immediately realizes that its planned surprise attack isn't a surprise anymore. It often ends up grabbing thin air because the tits are on the alert. I'm sorry to report that some great tits take advantage of their well-functioning community. If there's particularly tasty food around, or if food is scarce, then the little liars make the usual alarm call. All the birds quickly fly to safety, or almost all. Left alone, the trickster can now eat as much as it likes. How about cheating on your mate? This form of sexual liaison is also a kind of deception. At least it is when the cheater knows what it is doing. And you can see exactly this with male magpies. Some urban communities consider these handsome black and white corvids to be public enemy number one. Because they snatch the babies of other songbirds to feed their own young. This behavior puts them in the same league as the squirrels I've already talked about. You remember there was a chapter on squirrels in the beginning where one squirrel came crashing down to the swimming pool area with little babies hanging on to it. Does anyone remember that chapter? That story about squirrels? Was anyone there in that story? See how they have to go to save their young ones. I like to imagine what it would be like if magpies were an endangered species. If that were the case, we would be excited to see them. and we would marvel at how their black feathers shimmer blue-green in the light. Unfortunately, people who appreciate their beauty are few and far between. But back to cheating. Like other corvids, magpies form pair bonds that last a lifetime. They set themselves up with their partners in a territory that, like their partnership, gives their home for many years. They vigorously defend their home from others of their kind. This is clearly because both partners want to avoid sexual dalliances. After the eggs have been laid and most of the businesses of procreation has been accomplished, the zeal with which they defend the boundaries of their territory diminishes considerably. But even before that happens, much of their territorial defense is strictly for show, at least on the part of the males. While the female aggressively drives off any competitors that intrude, her partner is an opportunist. As long as his mate is watching or within earshot, he'll be just as aggressive in driving off an intruding female. However, if he thinks he is not being observed, he begins eagerly courting the attractive stranger instead. These are, however, other strategies in the animal world that cannot really be called lies, even if this is how they are sometimes described in the media. There are reports of foxes that, in contrast to peacock butterflies, actively fool others. The fox's hunting repertoire includes playing dead, and a fox may even let its tongue hang out to make the scene more convincing. A corpse out in the open, there are always takers, most often crows, which are happy to help themselves if there's delicious meat to offer, even when it's a bit past its prime. In the case of the fox, it's super fresh, too fresh as it turns out. Any black feathered guest that decides to grab a bite suddenly finds himself in the jaws of the wily fox and ends up being the meal instead. That is a masterful piece of play acting and definitely a trap. But it is far from being a lie. Lying usually involves deceiving others of your own kind by providing them with false information in order to gain an advantage for yourself. Interesting definition of lying. Lying, yeah. Lying usually involves deceiving others of your own kind by providing them with false information in order to gain an advantage for yourself. The fox is simply following a hunting strategy that is cunning and morally above reproach. The fox is quite often from Fridolin or from the magpie that sneaks a bit on the side. I'll read this again. The fox is quite different from Fridolin or from the magpie that sneaks a bit on the side, both of which are intentionally pulling a fast one on fellow animals and the deer to them. No matter how might judge these cases of treachery from a mortal standpoint, I, for one, am moved by them because they show just how intricate the inner lives of animals are. Yeah, we are open to the house to ask questions, to talk, and we will put a bookmark here, Jugjeev sir, for Stop Thieves.
Yes, yes.
Interesting, Jugjeev sir, how the animals work and what is lies. It may be an important point today to ask people what they think is a lie vis-a-vis a lesson for life. What do you think is lying? Does anyone want to say anything? Jugjeev sir, what do you think is lying? A deception.
Yes, as Arfa says, deception, as it hinted out there, to give false information for your advantage. That's what it said, and that's what it is. And so from that description, you would say that Ashwatthama Hatha is one of the most really good example of a lie in that concept, in that with that definition. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Good one, Arpa.
but
Anyone else?
Sir, yes, I also want to say, sir,
Sure, man.
lying means accepting without acceptance without insecurities. Like you won't accept my truth, so I'm lying myself to be accepted.
yeah,
That's
actually, Ina ma'am brings a very important point. We always think of lies as external. The lies you tell to yourself are many. Yeah, thank you for bringing that out, Ina ma'am. Yeah, you tell a lot of lies to
Sir,
yourself, in
in the
my sense.
reflection which you shared, in the reflection you shared this morning from Leher Tara,
Yeah,
understanding yourself was an interesting element in those infection, or those
yeah, yeah,
ones.
yeah.
And similarly, what Ela highlights here is that you have to understand yourself to think whether it's a lying or it is deception or it is for good. So, a
So
lot of
sometimes the child tells a lie to the parents because if he's insecure for the scoldings or the chiding he will get from parents. So it is the child lies for being accepted.
the child is doing self-defense, man.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Being accepted.
The
Yeah, yeah, but the child
defense
is doing self-defense, but the child needs to think for himself or herself, right? Whether it's doing the right thing or the wrong thing.
Agree,
yeah, yeah.
agree. But the child hasn't grown enough to decide these things. Gradually he learns. Sir.
No,
So,
of course, but I just don't want to leave an impression that it's okay to lie in any
so
circumstance.
defender or offender, that's the whole deal. So at this point, Yugdeep sir, I just thought I'd just share the website today. And as we have the retreat coming, we spoke the other day. The good part, Jugjeev sir, is this, that on 14th of January, the Learning Forward Foundation becomes 5 years old. So we have the foundation's birthday coming up. So anyone who's going to be here, you're welcome to the party. We'll host you. You can support us also by clicking here and finding out more about us. So, Jugdeep, so what we talked last week and what we thought, maybe we need to start talking a little about the retreat now and on and encourage people to join us. So, if you go to the website, the first thing we do in collaboration with schools and stakeholders is we encourage schools to come together. And why we encourage schools to come together? Because all the stakeholders must be involved in the philosophy of service, skills, sports, and study. So, you see, this morning, Colonel Shekhar came. He was a fine example of service, skills, sports, and study. And that's how youth actually engage with society. So, this week we also had Manmohan Singh's bye bye. Well, very uncanny that it is timed 5 years with us. And somewhere in 2019, he wrote this little letter to us, which you can read. The whole idea about the Learning Forward Foundation is a pioneering school culture transformation agency. So, what we are really saying is if you're improving your skills and enhancing your students' learning outcomes, would you like to join a network of schools and your passion for innovation and technology in your classroom? Whether you're open a new school or seeking to upgrade your current one, the foundation can help you change school culture. So we are really looking at how we improve a culture of trust and learning. That's the culture we are referring to. So we deeply committed to transforming education and will forever hold the legacy of our icon, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Some validations, something from Krista. Yeah, as there's so many of us new, if you're in my good school for a few weeks, it'll be great. You can sign for an internship. And like you saw in the Joy of Learning diaries, the interns at Lehetara have done a fantastic job. So you could learn from them. And plan your internship in a way that you spend a year with us, or minimum 6 months at least. If you're a teacher, why don't you sign up for the fellowship program? If you're anyway coming here regularly, why don't you get credit for that? As simple as that. Become our ambassador. So we are now coming to the My Good School retreat. Yeah. So the coming retreat is on 11th of April. The retreat will be at the Arthur Foot Academy again. Arthur Foot Academy is near Dehradun. It's on the periphery of the Rajaji National Park. There's little about Arthur Foot Academy here on the retreat page. The retreat page is also the Joy of Giving page. So if you go to our programs, the Joy of Giving page is the retreat page. The My Youth School page is also there. That's a program we have for you. Then there is the Teachers Academy page, which works for happy teachers. So you have a Teachers Academy page. And you have a Joy of Giving page. You have Youth Engaging Society, Internship, Fellowship, Newsletter, Podcast, YouTube. So let's go back to Joy of Giving. I've explained the menu to you. Arthur Foot Academy, in honor of Arthur Foot's visionary ideals, dedicated group from Doon School Old Boys, spirited by Asad Khan, is united to creating a meaningful legacy for our first headmaster, Arthur Foot Academy. Nestled in Bhandarjud, that's a small village near Dehradun, Arthur Foot Academy is wholeheartedly committed to providing a comprehensive education that nurtures both personal growth and social responsibility in children. An esteemed group of Good School Alliance. So schools are sending teams who will emphasize the vital importance of service, skill enhancement, athletics, and scholarly achievement in cultivating well-rounded individuals. So this is the kind of description of what we do there. We want you to join us. You can see more on the AFA website. On the last day of the retreat, Jugdeep sir, you missed this, so that's why you're not in the picture. On the last day of the retreat, the Doon School hosts us. So this is at the lunch in Doon School. And in this retreat, you can see participants from Gyanodaya. They will be joining this year also. The other children from Arthur Foot Academy, they will again be there this year. We have students from Sunbeam School, Lehertara. Some of them wrote reflections this morning, which you read. And we have Suman ma'am and her team from Abohar. So at the retreat, what do we really do? We meet twice a year. The next one is on April, and the last one was in November. It's 4 days. You arrive on day one, you spend day two and day three on site, and on day four you end up going to the Doon School. That's the last day. You can join us by coming by air to Dehradun, or by train to Haridwar or to Dehradun, or just drive down to the retreat venue. It is between Dehradun and Saharanpur. It's just 15 minutes off the Delhi Dehradun expressway, which is coming up. We normally take 30 people. So we have already given 5 away to Gyanodaya. So we are now open for 25. We will definitely have participation from the Doon School. So which means we'll only have 20 spaces. So please book your spaces in advance. Here are some visuals of the last retreat. And then if you want to find out more, you can see the album, you can see the campsite. You can go here and you'll get a feel of the campsite. The campsite photographs are there. You will have a look and you will see that it's a very exciting place. It's called Khan Farm. So this is the retreat venue. Yugi, sir, anything you want to add?
Yeah, basically, in terms of what people can expect is, an opportunity to interact with other children, make friends. You will have a lot of activities, which will be fun activities. You're very close to nature. If we are lucky, we'll spot some wild animals as well. There's a basti of Gujars living close by, which I found very fascinating how they live and their lifestyle versus our lifestyle, and you'll get the opportunity to work a little bit with the children in the Arthur Foot Academy. So I think there's lots of different types of activities which appeal to many different aspects of you. So I think the activities are several, and you'll be close to nature, and that to me is the biggest highlight: the fact that you're really close to nature and you're going to have fun.
So Jugdeep sir, the interesting thing which I thought we always highlight is this little thing which Konal wrote for the last retreat. You just mentioned that it's all about joy of giving, what nature gives us and what we give nature in turn. So you will get an experience of all the four: service, skill, sport, and studies. We will share resources, we'll share best practices. You can volunteer, You can come with your skills, you can dance, you can play games, you can add value. You can also help us in a way improve the Arthur Food Academy by your supporting us with skills, you're supporting us with resources. So we are looking forward to you to joining us at the Arthur Foot Academy, and that is what we call our Joy of Giving project as we celebrate 2025 as the year of joy of giving. We have mentioned about programs. So when we look at programs, I just wanted to highlight the podcasts and YouTube. So podcasts, our station manager is Oshi, but for some reason on Sundays she has, I think, a session. You can message her in the WhatsApp My Good School. If you have a podcast, send it to Oshi. She will host it on the Learning Forward podcast. So if you go to the Learning Forward podcast, it's available on Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, just about anywhere. Our last podcast was Reading for a Living, which was done by me. There was one, then there's one by Lena, then they're Breaking Mental Barriers, and you have a whole selection of podcasts, almost 300 of them. Similarly, when you check out our other important place where you can participate as an intern is in the YouTube channel. You can make YouTubes for us. You can send your reflections on YouTube and we can host them for you on our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel has had 1,40,000 views. So it's a fairly good channel now with over 6,100 subscribers. So you can post content here. Teachers post their reflection here. A lot of reflections of the Teachers Academy this year are on the YouTube channel because teachers' idea this year was to make quality videos for professional learning. We once in a while even host sessions like the one today afterwards as a recording on the YouTube channel. We hosted Anika's session there. We hope you enjoyed it. So this is the YouTube channel. Jugdeep sir, anything I missed out in the programs and what lies ahead, what people can participate in? Newsletter?
That's it. Newsletter, podcasts, right? Those are the two other things besides.
Yeah. Jugdeep sir, the Good School India Journal is there now also, in addition to Joy of Learning Diaries and Happy Teachers. Because Joy of Learning Diaries is internal, Happy Teachers internal, external communication is by the Good Schools India Journal. So we can have people writing professional articles, whether it's teachers or students, which they want to go way beyond My Good School. So the journal has 1,500 subscribers. It's very well distributed. It's one of our better digital media today. The journal also takes feed from the podcast channel and from the video stream. So journal is very good. Why? If you go to the journal, I'll give you a feel of the journal. So if you go to the journal is very interesting. In the journal, you will find you can subscribe. You don't want to, then don't. So you can say no thanks. It brings in podcast. It brings in notes. It has our archives. So the journal is a very well produced publication, which is quite well established in India. And more than half the journal circulation is to schools. So if I look at the 1,400 plus subscribers, 50% are school, Jugjeev sir. I realized it yesterday. So over 700 schools have subscribed to the journal to get it whenever the editions come out. So that's the benefit of the journal. So there is the journal, there is the Joy of Learning Diaries, which you people write on, and there is the Happy Teachers magazine or happyteacher.in, which the teachers write for. Manisha ma'am, over to you. Yugi, so you want to add something?
No, just one small thing, Sandeep. Ira ma'am wants to know what is the process of getting onto the retreat thing. I guess, or maybe Manisha, you can cover that first.
Yeah, Ila ma'am, just connect with Manisha. You can sign up on the website. It's as simple as that. For details, please connect with Manisha. Manisha, you want to shout out that how people can sign up for the retreat?
Sure. We'll be sending the email to the schools, and from there you all can sign up. That is one option. Second option is we'll be putting the form on our WhatsApp chat, and
Yeah,
from
it's
there
already there.
you all can sign up. So the process is very simple. You have to just write your name along with how many students are going to come for the teachers, and students can directly approach to their schools, and from there you all can sign up. That is one way of doing it. Secondly, let us know and then we can also sign you up directly in case you are individual signed up, not from the school side. So that can also be taken care of.
One point. When you say individuals, the individual must have a valid subscription of My Good School or the Teachers Academy. If you have
Yes,
not
there are not many.
yeah, if you're not renewed your subscription for Teachers Academy, if you're a teacher or a student, if you're an individual, subscription is only 2,500 an annum. You cannot apply to participate in the retreat. Similarly,
Yes.
if a school does not have a renewed Good School Alliance subscription, they will not be able to participate in the retreat. This is an important mention we have to put across. And some schools have to do the renewals. I'm sure when they open, they will do them. So we need to mention this. Please, 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 please. When you contribute, you don't give us any money. Your contribution help us do projects like the Arthur Foot Academy. Your contributions help us run this entire operations for you. There's no salary given to anyone from your contribution. Neither do I have any fees or Jugjeev sir charge any fees. We all volunteer our coaching time for you. But we do need the resources to put together diversity, equity, and inclusion. So sometimes we end up giving books, sometimes we end up giving equipment, like in the case of Arthur Foot Academy, we gave digital equipment of 1.5 lakhs to them. So all the money schools and individuals give us is put to absolute good use. By the way, we are also working from the foundation to get a bus for the Arthur Foot Academy. Jugjeev sir, we decided yesterday we'll take a loan on the foundation's name and make the bus available to the Arthur Foot Academy. I think it's an asset we can create, and that we will be forced to contribute the loan installments towards the loan. And we will push the foundation to collect these 25,000 rupees to pay the loan for the bus. And the bus will be used by the Arthur Foot Academy for growing their school program. We finalized this yesterday, Jogdeep sir. So we are going ahead with a bus loan this week, and by the time the term opens at Arthur Foot, they will have a bus. The bus will be bought by the Learning Forward Foundation for the children of the Arthur Foot Academy at Bandarjud village. So your contributions are put to good use.
Not only that, we are working on 80-20 ratio. So whatever you are giving us, as sir said, that nobody is charging and like nothing is coming to other organization, it is going as a service project. So the children, those who are not able to pay, like there are certain schools we have taken care of. So those children are made free to come and visit and socialize and there. So they are learning, and it's like a kind of peer learning session together. So they are learning from you and you are also learning from them. So there are certain schools, they'll be able to take care of it.
Yeah, we have 5 here, Manisha ma'am.
Yeah. And secondly, time management is very much important, which I want to tell you today. There were few students who joined late, so you will not be able to make out the best of My Good School if you're not joining on time. So I request everyone to join and be on time on Sunday so that you can make the best of it. You might have missed the meet and greet session by Colonel Sekhar. So whenever we are having the meet and greet sessions and other sessions also, please be on time. Try to be connected or be on your table at 10:30 to make the most of the Sunday school.
Rugjeev sir, like we did for Leena ma'am, should we put this on YouTube? We have the recording of Colonel Shekhar's visit.
I think it's a very, very great meet and greet session we had. And Rishora asked some very, very lovely questions. And so
Yeah,
I think
her questions are beyond an adult's comprehension.
absolutely, absolutely. So I think it's a very, very good thing to put out there. Yeah.
Can we just have a hands up and some of you agreeing to this, that we actually put this on the YouTube channel for people who came a little late? And we've also, Jugji, we also changed the way you enter Zoom for whatever reasons. And I think this works well. And what happened was, in our Zoom room, blanks of recordings exhausted us. We got a warning from Zoom that you have used way beyond your quota of Zoom and your account will be restricted. So that's why we realized people logging in at free time and leaving blank recordings for hours and hours sometimes. There was a recording of 800 minutes blank. Someone logged in and then just left it there. So we had to make this change of coming in with together and then leaving together. That's what we've had to do.
I'm
To
happy.
optimize Zoom.
I'm very happy. Just press a button and it opens. Much easier than all the password and all that stuff.
Yeah, this is much happier. And then all you have to do is one of the hosts comes and just presses the button and zip, everyone's in. There's no struggle. Someone admitted just now also.
Yeah,
Anything
but I
else?
think you
Yeah,
can do automatic admission also in the console.
we
I
want to
think so.
avoid automatic admission, Jagdeep sir, because
Okay.
yeah, this is not difficult at all. You go to any webinar in the world, you have to wait for the host to let you in. That's a standard global practice.
Yeah.
When you attend any webinar or Zoom, the host lets you in at the defined time. If we let people join before the host, we'll again have the same problem. People will hijack the whiteboard, they will mess up a little. See, you see how the discipline has come in also over the year. How and why we need this discipline? Because if you're going to use your content in live or in recording, then we have to have some form of presentation and some form of polish in what we send out. Earlier on, we were not doing that, but now as we want to do that, we have to be sure of good quality content we create for learning. Thank you. So we have from Sunbeam Balia, Nafisa saying that this is good. Yes. Thank you, Sunbeam Balia. You've been one of our fastest finger first people inside. The way you people came in was way beyond any school joined us. Great job by Balia. Good to see Century School active. Have we able to get DCM school activated, Manisha ma'am?
Yes, sir, but I cannot see anyone joining. I'll just call them up and find out.
Let's just check up if maybe they have some challenges like the system of signing in. Some schools came in late today because they were looking for the link like last time and they thought they'll be able to use the same passcode and same meeting ID. Please, please, please use WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp has got very good quality content floating. Use that content. Don't just go there to get the Zoom link. It takes a lot of effort on our part to curate the content. And the WhatsApp community, please visit it maybe once or twice a week. I'm not saying go there every day. Even if you go once a week or twice a week before joining us, it will help you stay updated and you will not feel lost. I have not received the link. Well, the link is only in WhatsApp. It's not even there in Telegram anymore. So you have not cared to open WhatsApp. If you not joined it, not my fault. Ask your teacher to ensure that you get the link in time. That's all, Manisha ma'am. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, sir.
So have a wonderful year. Thank you all from my good school. 15 minutes to go. Go out in the sun. Don't sit on your device anymore. We are leaving you 15 minutes. Please go out, play, enjoy the game, enjoy the atmosphere. Yes, in the north there's beautiful sun. If you have, and if you're in Dehradun, you have even a better sunlight. Go enjoy it. Thank you. We will share the content of today on YouTube and reflection Manisha ma'am will post on Joy of Learning Diaries. We will not post all the content of the session on Joy of Learning Diaries anymore. It will go in the YouTube. Is that right, Manisha ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Like we did in the Teachers Academy. Thank you so
So
much.
next week,
All
be
the
on
best.
time, everyone, so as
Yeah.
to make the most of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a wonderful 2025. Next week, hang on, we have docu-series. Join us. Amardeep sir is here. He just may be sitting next to me if things work out. Bless you all. Enjoy yourself. And good tidings from the My Good School studio at Dehradun.